So we come to the next problem. Let the time taken to switch between the user and kernel modes of execution be t1. Okay, so in your operating system there are two modes of execution: the user mode and the kernel mode. Okay, and there is kernel mode to give protection. Okay, so that you are not allowed to run in kernel mode. Okay, so that there are certain things that you can do only in kernel mode so that you don't spoil or corrupt other processes or the data. So that's the two modes, user and kernel mode. And if you want to switch between user and kernel modes, the time is t1. Okay, and while the time taken to switch between two processes be t2. Which of the following is true? Okay, then you have to give this relationship between these times. So how do you switch between two processes? So suppose some process is running P1, let's say some process P1 is running on CPU and it's running, and you want to switch. So this process is running in what? User mode. Okay, so you can say that this process is running in user mode and you want to switch to another process. So what you need to do is, first you need to switch to kernel mode. So you need to make a switch from user mode to kernel mode. Okay, and then that kernel mode, in that kernel mode the operating system will switch this process. Okay, it will make all the things necessary to switch the process. Okay, changing the the registers, CPU registers, and process status words and all those things. So that has to be done in kernel mode. You cannot do that in user mode. The operating system will take care of those things. So to change the process from P1 to P2, you need to switch to switch from user to kernel mode as a part of this. Okay, and then you have done all those things, and this kernel routine runs for some time. Okay, then operating system does it work for some time, and then you can switch to P2. Okay, and you can start running P2, and for that you need to again go from kernel mode to user mode, and then your P1 is ready to run P2. Okay, like this. So what was happening was that you are back in user mode. Sorry, so you're back in user mode, but in between you were all in kernel mode, like from here to here you were in kernel mode. So this is the thing. Okay, so what you learn from here is that there is user to kernel mode switch. So this is T1. Okay, and there is this again T1, and this switch from P1 to P2 is this complete T2 out here. So obviously T1 is a part of this thing. Okay, this bigger T2. So that means that T2 has to be greater, or T1 has to be smaller than T2, which is option C.